How we doing today? Mike with Blueface Plus. Thanks for tuning in on today's episode. Today we're going to be working again on my 2010 Jeep Patriot. Today we're basically going to be servicing the CVT transmission. We're going to change the filter that's in the pan down below. We're going to drop the pan. We're going to change that filter in there. Also, there's a secondary filter up here underneath the battery. We're going to do that last. So we're going to be basically trying to change the fluids out because the original homeowner, we got this thing at 150,000 miles. She said it's never been serviced. So before I drive it around and start using it regularly, I want to change that fluid. So we're at 156,000 miles. It probably should have been done sooner than that. Hopefully we don't cause any issues. So hopefully you guys enjoy this video today of how I'm going to do it. Let me show you guys a close-up here of the products. So first off, we're going to use the Valvoline CVT continuous variable transmission fluid. This is what my local parts dealer, AutoZone, had recommended. If you look here, it says for Dodge, Jeep, NS2 CVT F+4. So this is the fluid we're going to go with. If there's something else you recommend, comment it below. But we're going to use that. Here is a close-up of the filter kit, the Duralast TF 495. So in this box here, just get a new gasket. So you're going to want to hold on to that. Set that down here to the side. And then this is the filter. There's 3 bolts that hold it together. There's a little seal, and that's really all that is for that. So and here is one that a lot of people might not change. They might forget. TF246. This one's actually probably the more important one. Just a little filter like this. There's a little housing there underneath the battery. We got to pull, I think it's like 4 bolts, torque those back in. So we're going to do this one last. First, we're going to drain the fluid out. Then we're going to drop the pan, clean the pan, reinstall the pan. We'll probably add some fluid, and we'll probably actually back it off of this, these ramps that we have here, because it's going to be a lot harder to work on. So that's why I want to work down low, and then we'll work up high last. So let me get a close-up down here to this oil drain pan and the transmission pan. So 3/8 Allen key pulls this out, the drain screw. Getting ready to rain on me, y'all. Getting ready to rain. Here she comes. Ooh. All right. That don't smell too bad. All right, guys. So that's kind of what that. We're gonna let that drain. Once that's done draining, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put the drain bolt back in just to kind of keep it from losing it. And we're going to start pulling these bolts out here. So let's let that drain. All right, guys. So here's the bolts here. We got 18. We got 18 around the pan. So we're going to use a 10 millimeter. And we're going to start here in the back. We're going to take this screw all the way out. One. And they're very small. They're not like big. They're not torqued in there very much. So they're very small screws. So let me go ahead and pull all these out, and we're going to work the back off first. So that way the fluid will actually drain, and then we're going to try to angle the pan down to get all the fluid to drain into this pan. All right, so hopefully this gets a little better. So all right. All right, now we're gonna loosen up these back ones, and hopefully. Okay, it's on there, y'all. We're gonna have to. Whew, this might get a little messy. Might get a little messy, y'all. Let me go ahead and pull them all out, and I might have to try to pull on that back corner. I'm trying to pull on that. Wow, that is sealed in there good, y'all. Jesus. Starting to drip a little bit. The one to work this corner. There we go. You work that corner. All right, here it all comes. Woo! She came down quick, y'all. Keep those front bolts in and watch out. Not too bad, though. Not too bad. So, see how we kept a couple of the front ones in? Back just dropped. All goes into your pan. Make sure you just have some cardboard down or something to help catch most of that a little bit, but overall, not too bad. All right, let me get this left. I'm making a video. Hold on, Bobby. All right, so get these last couple bolts out. Just like so. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to clean these magnets in here. We're going to clean this out. Our filter's here. So let me clean this out and then we're going to work on getting that filter. All right, so we're going to pull these 3 filter bolts. We're going to get this filter out of here first before we clean that. So just be sure you don't mix up those because they are different. So one's long. This one over here is short. So then we got one in this back corner here. All right. Let's go ahead and pull this down. Oop, just like that. The rubber seal came out with it, so that's good. So, all right, I'm going to say we're going to change this filter first. So let's change this filter. Overall, it all looks pretty clean under here. This transmission looks really nice shape. We'll go ahead and we'll just wipe down around, you know, make sure there's no debris or anything. The seal seemed like it came off pretty good with the pan, so we'll scrape that. Let's wipe this out here. So we're going to get that new seal or that new filter. We're going to press that on. So we got the new filter. I just put a little bit of that oil on that seal. Snaps in like so. Just going to put the bolts right back in where they went. Nice and hand tight. And this stuff is slippery, y'all. Slippery. I can't even get my socket off. So with a 10 millimeter, we're going to tighten it all back up. All right, so I'm going to get these all tight and just make sure you torque them in. So I looked it up online, said 35 inch-pounds. So we got our torque wrench here for inch-pounds. We're going to do 35. Does not seem like a whole lot. Yeah. 35 inch-pounds. I'm going to double check that, but if you guys find something different, let us know. Comment below. Alright guys, so here's the bottom of that pan. There's definitely some crud on these magnets we got to get cleaned up. Overall, it's still pretty clean, y'all. So I think I'm just going to wipe this clean. I don't even think I'm going to use degreaser. I'm just going to give it a good old wipe down. Alrighty guys, so we got to get that old gasket off. They give us this little rubber gasket here. So let's go ahead, slap that in there. Let's get these bolts back. Alright guys, so let me fight this. I'm not gonna make you guys sit here and watch all this. Let me go ahead and get these all started. Alrighty guys, so after you get that new gasket on there, just go ahead and then start lining it up. Just line a few bolts and then go ahead and just start putting them in hand tight. Alright, so I'm gonna go around and get all these hand tight. Alright guys, so you want to put them back in a cross pattern. Basically, I'm going to go here, here, and then back, and then I'm just going to work my way out to the outer edges. And I'm just going to very carefully use this. I'm not going to go all the way and go tight. I just want to get them all snug, and then we're going to do 105 inch-pounds. All right, so I'm going to start here. Let's get it in there where it's kind of, you know. So that's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm just going to kind of go back and cross them, and then work my way out to the outer edges. All right, so I'm just going to go back and forth till I get to the edge, and then we'll do a inch pounds, 105 inch-pounds. Set that off to the side, and then right here is we're going to add the fluid. Alrighty guys, so just after you're torquing those bolts there underneath the transmission pan, be sure to put your drain plug back in. We're going to go ahead, I'm going to put 6, look, this is a little green, so that looks pretty good. We're going to put this 4 quarts in there. We're going to put 2 more quarts. So we're just going to be patient and get all this in there. We're going to get 6 quarts, and then we're going to go ahead and try to fire this thing up and let the transmission prime and then get it off these jack stands. Alright guys, so 1 gallon is 4 quarts. So we bought 2 big gallons, so we put 1 full, 1.5. So we put 1.5 gallons in, and now we're going to go ahead and put this all back together and start it up. Alrighty guys, let's fire it up and get it off of these ramps. Let it kind of sit there for a second, let the fluids kind of circulate for a minute. Alright, put it in brake, put it in reverse, drop the e-brake. Let's get it off of these ramps. Put it back in park. That thing run, that AC. So guys, I'm going to go ahead, clean up this mess. Make sure you guys dispose of your oil properly. Just put it in a container, take it down to your local auto parts. You can dispose of it there or take it to a recycling center for your oils. So go ahead and dispose of that. I'm going to take it around the block a few times, let it kind of get its pressures and, you know, the fluid circulating properly. Then I will go ahead and check for any leaks underneath, make sure your oil pan's not leaking, and then we're going to go ahead and get started on that next filter. So the first step to getting down to that filter, we got to remove this air box, set that to the side. It's actually going to be down there on the side of the motor, which it's kind of hard to get at. I think we got to remove this battery and the battery box. So I'm going to get started on that. So the gold pole is loose. I'll move that stuff out. This one here, battery just lifts right out. Sit that off the side. Alright, battery box looks like we got a few bolts to pull out of there. We're going to need a different socket. See what size that is. Alrighty guys, so to pull the battery box, I used a 19 millimeter or 13 millimeter to pull this bolt. Make sure you get some knock loose. The bolts are a little rusty in there. Let me show you a close up. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bolts to loosen up, and then the battery box will pull out. Alright, let's get this battery box out of here. I'm going to clean this up real good and degrease before I put it back in there. So that's what we're looking at, y'all, right here. Looks like we got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts, and then this will pull out, and the filter is located in there. I got my drain pan under there. Go ahead and set these up here. Man, I love this little impact, bro. This one here looks like a trickier one. I might need to get a little extension and play with that last one. All right, so I got this little socket on, this little extension thing on here to get this last one. This is my little trick to getting that bottom one. Set this off to the side. And then it should be right here. There it is, y'all. He looks dirty. So let's get that new one and put a little bit of lube around the side, and we'll stick it in there. All right, let's see if we can't wiggle it back up in there. There it is. Just snaps right in. So now just very carefully, we're going to put that back and just tighten it. It's got a little seal in there. I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to mess it up. So I'm just going to try to guide this right back to where it goes. Almost like as we never took it off. Now, if you guys do find a replacement seal, comment below. Let us know. But I did a quick search and I couldn't find where there was one available. So I'm going to go ahead and get these 4 bolts in and torqued in. Alrighty guys, so I'm finding some answers online, different mix, match. I'm going to go with 100 inch-pounds on the housing. So I just went ahead and did 100 inch-pounds because you don't want to overdo it. It's just a small little washer. You don't want to break nothing off. So now that that's on there, I'm going to put the battery box back in the exact order and get this battery box in, the battery, hook the battery up, the filter, and then we're going to go ahead, fire it up, and we're going to also use the dipstick that you have to purchase online. So get you a dipstick and then check your fluids and make sure that your level. Battery box is clean. Let's get this thing back down in here. So looks like right about there is where she liked to be. Go ahead and get this nut on there. This nut, make sure you use a lot of knock loose. It's very tight. And here we go. Help lubricate. All right. Let me finish getting those tightened up. All right, they're all tightened up. Looks pretty good. Slap this battery back in here. These damn wires wrestled out the way. Alright. Actually got a battery lockdown in there. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get this all tightened. Alrighty guys, I just want to thank y'all for watching. I really hope y'all enjoyed this video. So that's how you do your transmission fluid change and the 2 filters on a 2010 Jeep Patriot. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll be sure to get back to you guys and answer them as soon as possible. And again, if you're new to the channel, appreciate you guys. Hit a like, subscribe, stick around. We're going to do more stuff like this. So if you enjoyed this video and you sat through, I appreciate you guys. God bless.